Who is this came from? Do you know?
It's not clear, but people who were on our crew, associate producer, myself, others got threats, and so those came on Facebook and the email and so forth.
Um, the movie got nominated for the award, um, but didn't get it. But can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so it was nominated for an Emmy for Best National Documentary. Our friend's film actually got the award for a film called My Brother's Bomber, but it was a big recognition, I think, just to be one of the 5 films that was a finalist for the Emmys.
I've just talked to one person right in the community here in San Jose, Councilman Tom Nguyen, and regarding your movie, your film, he said you are using the story to make the frame for yourself. What can you tell?
Yeah, here's the real truth, right? Is that from the beginning, when we were conceptualizing the film, I didn't want to be in it. And when I talked to the bosses at Frontline, they said, no, you have to be in it. And actually, that was something I tried to get out of because that's not my preferred thing. I would rather be off camera and in the background. But they felt like that was the only way that it would work. Here's the thing, is that for me, it was an important story that needed to be told. And the only thing that matters to me about the story is getting the word out there about what happened to these journalists, about the failure of the government to arrest anybody in connection with those deaths, and about the failure of basically the mainstream and English language media to pay as much attention to those cases as they should have. For me, there was no fame bump for me at all. It was 2 years of a lot of work, then getting threats, then not a ton of interest, unfortunately, from the English language and mainstream media. So in that way, for me, one of the main things I wanted to do was generate interest in that world and say, hey, this is a story that you all have ignored and you've forgotten. And in some ways, so I would say the film was a failure in some ways because it didn't generate enough interest with the English language media. But in terms of giving me any fame, I would say it really hasn't done much in that regard.
It looks like right now for two is 2 separate investigations. One is regarding his father death,
right,
and the second one is regarding the financial of the organization Vietnam.
Right.
Is that what you think that should be the way?
Yeah, that's my understanding, is that he's really interested in sort of the finances behind Vietnam and what's and their corporate arrangement and what they're doing with their money today, and then also trying to cultivate sources who know about what happened to his father and can finally explain to the world what happened to his father and the other journalists who were killed during that time period.
It looks like Tu is the one who lead the investigations now. Regarding that topic, regarding that subject, regarding that film, you and your company here, ProPublica, having to do anything with that going forward?
Are we going to continue to report on the subject? I think we're going